Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Cosplay Worthy by Quiana and Glide, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. Oh, fuck! I hollered as I dropped the piece of foam onto the kitchen floor. I didn't own a heat gun, so using the stove was the next best thing for shaping foam. I had once again burnt my hand. That made 4 stovetop burns, all not from cooking. "What'd you do now?" my best friend Alex shouted from the living room. "Nothing. Burnt my hand," I sheepishly admitted. "Are you sure I can leave you?" Alex asked. "I'm not a baby," I said as I hugged my toasty hand to my chest. "Could have fooled me," she cackled. I rolled my eyes. Alex was in mother hen mode. If I got too focused on a project, I wouldn't eat. Last year, I passed out in the parking lot on my way into work. My sketchbook pages and art supplies flew everywhere. That bothered me more than the comically large bruise it left on my forehead. Since then, if I needed to devote my attention to cosplay, crafting, or art, Alex would make sure I maintained human status by eating, showering, and taking regular trips to the bathroom. Anyway, I'll be fine. I think I'm molded most of the foam, and I'm going to start gluing everything together today. Today's effort would be attaching, painting, and polishing various thickness of foam pieces to make the armor for my Diablo'd cosplay. So Red the Rose was my favorite comic, and Diablo was my favorite character. She was a snarky, sword-wielding badass who I desperately wanted to be like. Since that was never going to happen, I opted for cosplay instead. After much penny pinching, I had finally saved enough money to go to Nova, a sci-fi and comic book convention in Long Island. This year, the guest of honor was the creator of Diablo, Vic Williams. I'd read his comics since I was a cranky teen. He was one of my idols. I was beyond excited to finally meet him. Also, I was excited to be with my people, the fellow geeks and nerds of the world. Conventions were a safe haven for me. They gave me a sense of community that I had never felt anywhere before. Being the geeky black chick in a crowded foster home wasn't the best environment for fostering a well-rounded, self-confident adult, but thanks to fandom, I eventually found my footing. Cool. Text me later. I'm going out with Levi tonight, but I still want to know how you're doing. I nodded. Every time I thought Alex and Levi had broken up for good, she'd take him back. He was a flake, and she didn't think she could do any better, which was the furthest thing from the truth. But what the hell did my single ass know about dating? After Alex left, I settled on the couch with my coffee and a cold slice of pizza. As the days went by, I was getting nervous about Nova. Hopefully I could finish my costume in time. Hopefully it would be good. I spent most of Saturday assembling all the foam into a chest piece and knee pads. Once everything was hot glued together, I needed to spray paint it. When the instructions say use in a well-ventilated area, they actually mean it. My living room didn't count. I coughed until my eyes burned as paint particles filled the air. Fuck. I stumbled over to the balcony and swung open the sliding door. More often than not, my shortcuts were stupid. Like the time I decided to wear a thong with a costume that didn't have a modesty panel on the back of the outfit. I was shocked there were no ass shots of me uploaded to the cosplay forums. I hung the foam over the railing and finished painting. In the light, it didn't look bad. Hopefully, it was enough to impress Vic Williams. Once Monday rolled around, I was sleep-deprived yet accomplished when I dragged myself to work. I had finished the costume. Just a few more days. However silly it was, counting down gave me something to look forward to. I snuck a peek at the countdown app on my phone. Only 113 hours to go. Which was good because life around the office was quiet. I worked downtown as personal assistant to Maxwell Rhodes, one of Philadelphia's biggest realtors. It was an easy job, but I honestly had no passion for it. Singing empty praises to someone that already had a big head was the furthest thing from my ideal career. But life as an artist was nothing more than a pipe dream. A hobby. One I fit in wherever I could. I doodled on the back of paperwork or in my travel-sized sketchbook whenever the day slowed down. Now I would have been drawing, but my boss Max sat on the edge of my desk, picking fuzzies out of my afro. I scowled. He had always been too familiar. It was his nature, but at least he hadn't asked me out this week. "So, Layla, my offer for after-work drinks still stands." He moved his hands from my hair to rest in his lap. I resisted the overwhelming urge to roll my eyes. "No thanks, I've got some stuff to do tonight, getting ready for my trip." You're always turning me down. It's not fair, he pouted. I looked up at the tall black man in his gray, loose-fitting suit. Beside Max being my boss, the revolving door of women in and out of his office was more than enough to keep me at bay. Sorry, but like I said, can't. And besides, your 3 o'clock is here? I pointed to the tall blonde that sauntered into the lobby. Max hopped off my desk and straightened his jacket. Judy, sweetie, how are you? Good, I'm just glad I'm done with the gym for the day. Yoga was a mess. I don't know why fat people even try it. They can't keep up. She groaned in a nasally high pitch. The emphasis she put on the word fat almost made me barf. Judy was typical of the women Max strung along. Self-absorbed, fashion-conscious, snobs. With my messy afro and penchant for sneakers, I had no idea why he always asked me out. I had no idea, but I was never going to be another notch on his bedpost. Max nodded along half-heartedly to her high-pitched complaints as he led the way to his office. Door closed behind them, I sighed, and I looked up at the comic panel taped to my computer screen. Sword in hand and confidence in her eyes, Diablo stood tall above her enemies. In these moments, I wished I was her. I wished for the inner strength and confidence Diablo had. Instead, I was shy, meek little Layla, who never spoke up or stood up for herself unless she was pretending to be someone else. I was itching to dive headfirst into convention life. Cosplay breathed life into me, and it was the only time where I truly felt comfortable in my own skin. By Tuesday, I had prepared and packed everything for the convention. By Wednesday, my knees shook non-stop with nervous energy. I had barely slept. I was too anxious. In between answering phones, replying to emails, and double-checking appointments, I spent most of my time reading the cosplay boards and getting pumped up for Nova. It was hard not to judge my Diablo costume against the other ones other people had already done. Lots of my online friends were highly skilled costumers. I envied their skills, but all I could do was try. Friday morning, I wheeled my suitcase into the office and tried to focus. Coffee helped me through the workday, but I had already checked out mentally. At 5 o'clock, I ran out the door and tossed my suitcase into Alex's trunk. We sang along to her road trip playlist on the drive to Long Island. Although I was exhausted, I was too amped up to even think about napping. It was happening. After all the planning, all the preparation, I was meeting my idol. I was meeting Vic Williams. Finally! Alex groaned as I slipped in the key and opened the door to our hotel room. The room was small. 2 double beds, mini fridge, a desk with a coffee maker, and a flat-screen TV. I tossed my bag on the floor and claimed the bed closest to the window. With a smile, I flopped face first onto the fluffy comfort of the neatly made hotel bed. Alex grabbed my fallen bag and put it in the closet. We're here! We're here! We're here! I giggled and kicked my legs wildly. The traffic was crazy coming off the highway. I'm surprised that dick swerving all over the place didn't cause a damn accident. Alex sat on the other bed and kicked off her shoes. I snuggled my face into the pile of pillows and sighed. I'm hungry. I picked up from the pillows as Alex, who had settled into her bed. I know we should save money and shit, but I'm fucking exhausted. How's overpriced room service sound? I gave her a thumbs up. The convention was already in full swing, but a lazy hotel evening was fine with me. Pajamas on, burgers ordered, and a Family Guy marathon on TV was the perfect way to recharge. I'm going to need your help getting dressed tomorrow. I dipped a couple fries into ketchup and stuffed them in my mouth. Alex nodded and turned her attention back to her phone. She wasn't interested in any aspect of convention life, but I had to give her kudos for going along for the geeky ride. Ugh, Levi's going out with his damned roommates again, Alex huffed. Just break up already. I kept my judgmental inner dialogue to myself and offered words of encouragement. You guys are back together, right? He won't be stupid. At least I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know, maybe. But if he's going to have fun, you better believe we're going to cut up before the weekend is over. Hell yeah, I exclaimed before biting into my burger.